guys, this is our first ever bonus roll interview. Our goal is just to get some good rapid fire questions by the end of this little talk. This is a former guest, I believe episode 3. Episode 3.
I think it was the third one.
Episode 3. So you can go back and listen to this episode for those who are tuning in for this. And if you're a member of the school, you definitely know who this is. It's our good friend, Tayla Meredith.
Hello, everybody.
She is someone who has been with the school for so many years now. Do you know how long you've been training?
It'll be 4 years this March.
Oh, crazy. So, I mean, that's the beginning of the school pretty much. I think you started maybe a month or two before, right after we started.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 years of training. She is getting ready for her purple belt.
Yes.
She's actually doing her last competition as a blue belt coming up this weekend. So I thought this would be a good time to do this little rapid fire question and answer. You excited?
I'm so excited.
So before we get to the questions, we'll do that last. And this is something I want to do with like everyone from the school because I think it would be fun to get to know them in a funny way. But before we do that, we do want to talk a little bit more, kind of like an update. Think of it as like a really nice update. It's been over a year. I think it's been like a year and a half since we did the podcast last time. So to see how you're doing, what's new?
What's new? My women's program actually gotten really big.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you
bigger.
just started about a year ago, I think.
Yeah, we started 2023 in the summer.
Okay. So it's been going for a while.
It's been like a year and a half. But this past like 6 months I feel like has grown so much.
We had a class today, right?
Yeah, today's class was the biggest it's ever been.
Nice.
I feel like the curriculum's getting better. I just getting more comfortable teaching. That's been something I've been trying to work on.
What do you think about teaching? What is the obstacles? So you started this, you never taught anything else before. Did you do cheerleading for teaching like kids?
Yeah, I was a junior coach, but not really teaching.
You didn't have to come up with curriculum or like class structure or anything like that?
No, nothing like how it has been for this. And actually like my current job, my real job.
My real job, not my jiu-jitsu job.
Not the fun job, but the real job. I do teach, train, but the teaching has gotten so much better. It's crazy how much work actually goes into planning a class, and there's never enough time in classes, no matter how many hours you get.
That's what most people don't understand. It's like the work that goes in before teaching. A good teacher generally puts in just as much time before a class or prepping a class as they do the actual class.
Yeah, and you want to make sure it makes sense, not only to you as teaching, because sometimes like if you're teaching, you're like, okay, I just said a whole lot of information. That made sense to me, but somebody who's brand new, does that make sense to them? Somebody who's experienced, are they getting the same amount out of it as somebody brand new? So it's just like...
It's a balancing act.
It is, yeah. It's
so
fun.
I feel like you've definitely have gotten so much better at it. You feel that as well?
Yeah, and I definitely feel more comfortable. It was a little awkward in the beginning.
Trying to come up and feel comfortable. I think your skill set on the mat probably reflects that too. Yeah. I mean, over the course of the last year and a half or so of teaching, your jiu-jitsu has gotten so much better. And I think it's kind of like they go together as your skills get better, your ability to teach, your confidence goes up.
Yeah. It's like, it was funny example when we went to Miami. Literally the week before I taught this whole lesson, and then in my tournament in Miami, I actually did what I taught. Like I did the Kimura finish, and I was like, oh, we just went over this. And it was like so funny to think that like, oh, it is in there. It is in there. I just taught it, but
and do you think teaching it actually makes you better at it?
Yeah.
So selfishly too, for those who are wondering like or thinking about teaching, you actually find it to be an asset for your own skill set. If you want to get really good at something, learning to explain how it works will actually make your teaching a lot better, or your practice a lot better. So that's great. I'm glad that the classes are growing. We'll keep that going for sure. For those who are unfamiliar with Tayla's story, I would like to go back to kind of the beginning with competing, since you just mentioned Miami was the last tournament we just did. Yeah. It was November. Mm-hmm. It's now January 1st, January 3rd, 4th. We just started the new year. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know what date it is. Just the beginning of the new year. So only a couple months ago was our last tournament. But if we go back to the beginning, when Tayla was a young little baby white belt, she did her first tournament, and she has one of the most epic stories when it comes.
Epic, crazy, wild, dumb.
Upsetting. And for those who know it, if you haven't heard the story, her first tournament, she went out there and we were all convincing her to, no worries, you're just going to go out there and have fun. and she did a great job. And her last match, I believe it was the last match of the day too, she ended up getting thrown and posted her arm and snapped her elbow and had a pretty bad hyperextension of her elbow, completely dislocated. We've put the video out there. The video is out there.
Shared too much.
It's popular. Dangling arm out there. And for her first tournament, that's a pretty tough outing. And
definitely wasn't what I was expecting to happen.
Wasn't the anticipated result.
Wasn't the goal.
And like winning and losing is not. Who cares? I mean, it's okay if you go out there and you lose, but injuries are something we're always trying to avoid. And some things are unavoidable, some things are avoidable. This was a pretty shocking injury. It was definitely you don't see it all the time. We've seen it happen, but this is a rare one. And to have that be your first tournament and can you maybe talk about, do you remember the mindset afterwards? Did you have any doubts of ever coming back?
No doubts of ever coming back. I knew as soon as it happened that I was like, oh, I have to hope this isn't too bad so I can get back on the mat. Just to kind of walk through the whole day. So I get on the mat, the girl takes me down, I post my arm like an idiot. Don't do that, break, fall.
Take the fall.
Yeah, take the fall. But I remember my arm being like, watching my arm go the other way and then looking at my parents who were like standing on the side of the mat and like they've never seen any jiu-jitsu tournaments before this. They've never been
and
at
everyone
wrestling.
Came.
Everyone came. My whole family was there. Joey was on the chair, the coaching chair, and I just remember looking at my mom and my mom's face was like horrified. My dad was just like, you're fine. They're just going to wrap it up. And I'm like, I don't.
We try to keep you calm. I remember that being a good goal of like looking at her and be like, it's okay. You're going to be okay. And you're just white as a ghost looking at me.
Yeah. It wasn't really, it was like the shock and it wasn't really painful. It was like, I just watched it happen and it was like so grossed out. So I was like, oh gosh, like I didn't know if I was going to throw up or what. But yeah, so then they take me in the ambulance. So embarrassing. I get hauled in the ambulance. I go to the hospital and everything. They're like, they take the x-rays. They go, good news. We don't have to do surgery. So they're just going to pop it back in. And then I do physical therapy for a couple weeks, probably like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, strengthening it. I had to like learn how to get the whole extension and bend back. It was crazy. I couldn't even like touch my shoulder from here. And
which arm is it? Left arm or
it
right
was
arm?
my left arm, this one. So it was like.
So look at the range of motion now is good.
Look at this. I
can
touch my shoulder.
Look at that. It works.
But before it was like I can only go like to here
or
like to here, and then you had to do all these exercises, strengthening everything. But yeah, I mean, I would come and sit at class and watch everybody with the little sling on,
moving your arm around.
Yeah, trying to get the rotation and range of motion back. But not once was I ever like, I'm not going to do this ever again. It was like, I just can't wait to get back on and compete again because I need to redeem myself.
So you felt that desire for redemption?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was, like a perfect redemption arc.
Yeah.
You know, because again, like most people, I don't know. There's people who like have legitimately just lost without any injury and you never see them want to compete again. So, you know, the obstacle that you've ran into is, you know, winning or losing wasn't even a part of it. It was the story of being able to come back after a big injury. And I respect your heart for, you know, I've said that to you. I think I said that to you when you got your blue belt. It's like you showed so much heart that, you know, most people, you know, they're too scared to even try competing. Yeah. And you're willing to try it again after such a devastating injury is, you know, super impressive. And, you know, we all looked up to you for that.
It did help with all the support I got from you guys, like you and Nolan. When he was here, you guys were all like, it would be so cool if you get back and you get your left arm raised and that's the arm that you got dislocated. I was like, yeah, that would be cool.
Did you make sure to stand on that side?
Yeah, I had to be on this side so they could raise it.
Well, getting to that part of it, right? So we go through this little rehab journey, getting you back into training. Do you remember the you know, the decision that like what tournament you were going to do, like your first time, you know, knowing that we wanted you to compete again or you wanted to compete again? Do you remember that decision? It's kind of blurry to me, to be honest. I don't remember. I remember what tournament you did.
Yeah.
You did. It was a Fuji tournament, right? In Barrington.
Yeah. I remember I wanted it to be a smaller venue because I've been struggling with like performance anxiety for a while. So like getting in front of everybody, especially after my injury and like competing in front of all my friends and family. Like I didn't want to feel that way again. So the Fuji tournament and my first tournament back, I was like, nobody can come.
You told your parents, you're like, you can't come.
My dad, it like broke his heart. He wanted to be there so bad, but he was like texting.
Shout out
like,
to Tom.
Yeah,
Tom Meredith.
He was like texting my sister. Was like, oh, should I just pop in the back? Like, will she know?
He probably snuck in. You don't even know.
Probably did. But I mean, yeah, that I wanted a smaller venue. I definitely wanted it to be a little bit more, less people watching.
Yeah.
Not that anybody cares, but.
And you forget about it once you're out there, don't you?
Yeah. Once you're out there, it's like nothing else matters. You're just in the match. But yeah, I didn't want a big match. And you said this one was going to be smaller and definitely not the same place. And yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So we decided to do another tournament, and the redemption of it was so much fun. Because watching you, I can see the nerves, and just like anyone, we're all nervous. I was actually talking today with Jesse, a student of ours, and we were talking about competing again. He competed as a white belt, blue belt, now he's a purple belt, and he's, just again, it makes him feel much more comfortable. He said the fact that everyone's nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's I've competed so many times. I told him, I was like, I'm always nervous. That's never the case where I'm like, oh yeah, no big deal. If you care about something, you're going to be nervous. And the nerves are actually, I think, a part of the joy for myself. I'm desiring that feeling of like excitement in my life. It's like, it really motivates me. But to feel it, I like my own nerves. My own nerves are I can control my own nerves. I feel good about it. But I'm so much more nervous, especially for people I care about. All my students, like I get way more nervous for Kyle competing than me. For you, especially in that case, was the most terrified I've ever been in my life. Just the thought that what if her right arm gets broken, or to be like, everyone says like, oh, it couldn't have gone worse. Anything could happen. Like it would have been devastating if you would have got hurt again. These are the risks that we take to like, the hero's redemption arc. It's like, it wouldn't really be that impressive if you didn't come back. Like, it'd be one thing. I'd just be happy that you'd be back into training.
Yeah.
I think jiu-jitsu is so valuable. I would have been so happy for like, competing's not for me, won't do it again. And I would understand it. But you were willing to take that risk of challenging yourself again. And the way it panned out, the way it played out was so epic. Yeah, you had an awesome. It was a trilogy match with this girl who was actually really tough. Do you remember?
She was.
I don't remember her name. I don't remember where she was from, but she was super tough. I think she was in Pedigo. She was.
I don't remember.
Yeah, she was a really tough girl, and I think you lost the first match.
Yeah.
So she loses the first match, and it was a good competitive match, but the girl was just a little bit more feisty than you. Like had like a lot of competitive energy, until being a little bit more hesitant. Her first time back. A little slow. And then second match, do you remember how it went?
The second match?
I think it was a close match.
I don't remember the second one.
I think
it was
won.
by points,
yeah,
right?
she won by points. It was a competitive match, and kind of like almost like the classic like tortoise versus the hare.
Yeah.
Like the girl was like the hare. She was like going quick, and she's just slowing down. And you just kind of kept a good consistent pace. I think you won very close match. Yeah. And then the third match, so now we have that 1-versus-1 for first place. She gets to do this match again. And it was one of the more epic matches I've ever seen. It was just so exciting. And everyone's watching. Everyone was going crazy during the match.
They were like picking up the mats as we were done. They were like, because we were the last one.
The last of the tournament. So everyone's watching.
The last ones. So they were clearing the mats.
So like everything else is like falling apart around her while we're doing this match. Everyone's eyes are on the match. It was so much fun. And you end up getting a submission, your first submission in a tournament. Or your first... I don't think you won anything in your first tournament, right? I don't think you won any matches.
No.
Right? So this was your first time winning, too, in that tournament.
Yeah.
And then her first time winning by a submission, I assume, right?
No, I won.
In the gi.
No, in no gi. I didn't win any in the gi. That's why I do no gi. Just kidding. I won.
Really? You're not kidding.
The first one, I know. The first one with rear naked choke. Remember that one?
Okay, I kind of do.
And
I don't know. I just remember
it was like a
this
real
match.
quick guard pull. Didn't want to wrestle, and then climbed up to her back and then choked her out.
Nice.
And then
so there was a couple other girls in the division.
There was one other girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. She tattooed.
Yeah, she looked very scary.
Very tough, and we were all scared of that girl.
Yeah, and she was a blue belt at the time.
Yes.
And I was still
a little white belt. and
I was
this
like,
girl,
oh, this girl's
this
gonna
girl's
kill me.
tatted up until like, and like all the exact strategy we worked on. You remember
Mhm.
like the
Yeah.
the way we
Hold.
hold guard, off balance. It was really impressive. I forgot about that. That's good.
Yeah. And then it was her. The second one was arm triangle.
Yes. So
Yeah.
the arm triangle. So you know,
But
for
in
the
the gi,
finals.
she dominated me.
Oh, okay,
that
that's
one.
right.
But
Yeah.
the other girl didn't do the gi.
Yeah, so this was, you know, the finals match. She finishes with a beautiful arm triangle. I think it was like you were losing too.
Yeah.
Just to make the story, sell the story. You were down on points, and you can just see that like she was fatiguing until it's just climbing, and you ended up finishing like, in the last like minute or so with a arm triangle.
Yeah.
The Kanagatomi from the top, and it was such an epic win. We're all like emotionally. I was just like, oh my god, it was the coolest thing ever. Yeah. So when you got your hand raised there, I think everyone, it's a very special moment. So I think, you know, I remember things about competitions. Like I remember moments, and that moment in particular was one of my favorite for the whole school. You know, in 4 years, it was one of my favorite memories of all time. You know, because you know the storyline is what makes it memorable. Not just, you know, everyone has moments, but like the people don't know when you watch someone get their hand raised, you don't know what goes into that beforehand.
Yeah.
You know, the struggles of watching you try to bend your arm for weeks at a time, and then to come back and, you know, and get gold your first time back. It's, you know, it was a special story.
Yeah, that was really, it meant a lot. It was crazy. And
So,
everyone's support was so cool.
Yeah, we were all I could not. I've never been more happy. Like I didn't even feel that way for any of my wins. You know, I mean, that's how I feel, and I feel that way about all my students and friends. Like it's such a special feeling. You know, and I think any good coach feels that way too. So great memories. You know, going back to you as a member of the school and a teacher. We've been so grateful to have you, you know, really step into a role that is kind of missing here, for obvious reasons. Me and Kyle being, you know, black belts and teachers, but from our point of view of being males and not being able to, you know, do this role of making women more comfortable training jiu-jitsu. Not that hopefully we don't make them uncomfortable, but it's a different, whole different program when it is women teaching women.
Yeah.
So it's something that specific to this women's program that we have at the school is that Tayla runs classes. You know, today I think you had like 8 people on the mat, and couple women who would never try jiu-jitsu normally.
No.
I think they were here for yoga, you know, doing yoga classes, and they came out and they tried jiu-jitsu, and I think it's such a cool thing. Jiu-jitsu in my mind is really anyone can find value and have some joy in this training of martial arts, and but there's a lot of roadblocks or a lot of opposition to it if you just look at it from a distance and you see people getting their arm broken, or you see a bunch of guys running around sweating
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's how when I first started, Dakota was explaining this to me, and I was like, "You want me to do what? Like, you want me to roll around with all these guys? Like, that's weird." No,
it's definitely weird without context.
Yeah.
And Dakota being your sister, she was the first person who you probably trained with then too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she brought you. So it was you and your sister being able to train. I think that's a great thing. I don't think that's a bad thing in terms of like comfort. If you want to start something, if you're looking to start jiu-jitsu or anything that's maybe a little awkward or uncomfortable for you, if it's out of your comfort zone, to have, you know, someone like a sister or your brother or someone who you know really well, we want to be able to provide that that comfortability. And then before you know it, you get out of your comfort zone. Now look at you. I mean, she trains more than anyone I've ever met. You know what I mean? You train just as much as anyone I've ever met, and you're never afraid to go roll with someone new and help someone out, or someone who's a lot bigger, someone a lot smaller. Can you maybe expand on that for your memory of like, when did you get out of that comfort zone?
I think I was kind of forced out of it because I used to come during the day, during the daytime when my old job was more flexible with that, and my sister would come with me. So then when I got to my new job, I had to stop going during the day and started coming at nights. So I was like, oh, well, she can't come every night, so I'm just going to have to roll with other people. And now it's kind of just like second nature.
Yeah.
Because we've all been that new person. We all know what it feels like. So it's nice to have someone friendly to be like,
Yeah, you
Let's
always
roll.
grab the new person,
Yeah.
which I love. And for a long time, you're probably the only female
Yeah.
in the mixed
In
group
the
class, or especially in the advanced class,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's grown since
It
then.
is growing, yeah.
Now we have always one or two other girls for you to train with.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's like the comfortability of you being able to grapple. You're okay training with anyone.
Yeah. I mean, especially since it's such a male dominated sport, you have to be okay
Mhm.
training with your male training partners and just hope they don't crush you. And
Well, and
think that
yeah, I think a good school, that's a big part of the culture of it, is that we actually, we know how to train with
Yeah.
each other. Because myself included, I'm a small person. It doesn't matter, male or female. If I roll with someone who's 350 pounds, and we have big guys who I can train with everyone here, and I trust
Yeah.
that everyone is going to be able to respect, the physics of the body, and not just try to crush me and lay on me, but instead exchange in an artful way. And that's, I think, what separates, good training versus bad training.
Yeah.
And, if you find a good school, you should be able to train with everyone. And I'm so happy that we can build this program. I really hope that, my big goal with it is to provide that comfortability at first, but then to help people, if they'd like to, expand outside their comfort zone. And
Yeah.
we have some stories of that, with good friends of ours like Kirsten and Kristen.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 2Ks, they also, started maybe with more comfort zones and expanded out of there and started to train with more people and roll and
Come to open mats.
to open mat. How cool is that? So,
Yeah.
some stuff to look forward to. So grateful for you as a member of the school, as a member of the team too, for training. And we really couldn't imagine the school without you.
Oh, I couldn't imagine my life without the school. I was telling you the other day, off the record.
This is on the record now.
I was saying like jiu-jitsu like really changed my life. Before I joined, I was like, I didn't have a hobby. I didn't have anything. I was just like going to the gym, going home, just like not like doing bad things, but like just bored.
Mm-hmm.
And once I started jiu-jitsu, now I feel like this is like literally my second home, and I couldn't imagine like my life without it. And I know life will come in and like the mat, or sometimes you can't train every day and life happens, but the mat's always going to be here. And like, it's just such a good hobby to have.
Yeah.
Even if you don't compete. So
yeah, there's plenty of people. Yeah, it's real. I really think, it's not, competing's not going to be for everyone, especially all the time. There's going to be a time where, myself included, I've competed my whole life since I was like a little kid wrestling. But I know it's going to end at some point, and I would still like to think that jiu-jitsu will be enjoyable for me to come and train and spend time sharing stuff. And I think that's important, that we can't just rely on the excitement of even live training for training. It needs to be bigger than that. And, I'm happy that you said that about, it basically being a fun a hobby for people that you can, keep your brain satisfied. You can keep yourself learning and developing, because as we get older, we definitely stop doing that.
Yeah.
We just kind of get into our ruts or routines of like, go to work, come home, watch a movie, go to bed, and repeat.
Yeah, and you don't move, your body's stiff, you fall out of bed.
We're
but
all getting
now you
old.
get out of bed and you're like, oh, I'm sore because I just got choked.
Yeah, I'd rather be stiff because I'm doing stuff versus stiff because I'm not doing stuff. And I think that's where almost everyone ends up. Awesome. So I think it's time.
Oh gosh. Okay.
It's time for this rapid fire question. This is something I'm going to tell you. We put a lot of work into this over the last 5 minutes. I just came up with this little list, and maybe it'll evolve and change over time. But I think it's a pretty good list. So the idea here is rapid fire. Okay. So feel free to give these quick answers. If you'd like to elaborate, feel free. There's no pressure. There's no need to do one word answers.
Nervous.
Yeah, I'm pretty nervous too about this. I think it should be a fun, easy one. I think by the end it gets a little goofier.
Okay.
So at the beginning, quick, easy answers. Have some fun with it.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Tayla Meredith, quick fire jiu-jitsu questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
1, gi or no gi?
No gi.
Easy. I knew that was going to be the answer. 2, favorite jiu-jitsu position. You had to have one.
Position?
Mm-hmm.
The back.
Back control.
Back
Boom.
control.
3, favorite jiu-jitsu submission.
Rear naked choke.
Rear naked choke. They go together. Back, rear naked choke. 4, favorite training partner.
Anyone small. Joey, Christian, Sergio.
Nice. I like it. Christian's behind the camera. Well done, Christian. You made the list. And you didn't make it for this one. Number 5, biggest training rival.
Adrian.
Adrian. Done. Knew it. Adrian, I hope you heard that.
Only because he called me out in his podcast. Go check it out.
Adrian.
And that's where the rival started. So it wasn't me. I know that's getting a little confused, but he called it out.
He started it.
He started it.
You remember that, Adrian. 6, what's your jiu-jitsu nickname if you have one?
You guys call me a lot of things. I think the first one that comes to my mind is T-Pain.
Yeah.
Not because I'm always in pain, but because
it's because she likes to rap. Oh, I thought it was because you like to rap.
Or because I rap, yeah.
I thought because she uses a lot of funny rap sounds.
T-Pain. That'll be a next special. Next
Next album.
podcast.
T-Pain. I like T-Pain. It's my personal favorite. T-Pain's great. Okay, next one. What animal represents your jiu-jitsu?
Oh, that's a good one.
Because if you don't have a nickname, this would become your nickname.
Represents my jiu-jitsu. Trying to think of all the animals.
Any animal in the animal kingdom. Could be land, sea. Could be air.
Only thing that's coming to my mind. Oh gosh, it's from the other guys when he's like the big
the
500-pound tuna.
She's the tuna. Okay, 300-pound tuna.
300-pound tuna.
Yeah,
with all my tuna friends.
they're gonna get together and start hunting lions.
Yeah,
I like
we
it.
crave the lions.
We've created a taste for it. Okay, favorite movie. Excuse me. Favorite music to listen to while
I
rolling.
thought you were gonna say favorite movie.
I took that one out just so you guys know. I wanted to ask what your favorite movie was. She said, "Don't ask me what my favorite movie is."
There's too many movies.
I like that question, and I know Christian would respect it because Christian's a movie man.
I love movies, but favorite music to
favorite
roll
music to roll to. If you had to pick one.
Oh, okay.
It could be a genre, or it could be a song. Could be a singer.
Okay. I like the Mac Miller stuff you play. I think it's James Brown that you play.
Right, I'm a big James Brown
fan.
fan.
And then on some days, I do like the reggae stuff that you play.
All right, cool. I like the reggae is it's a very hit or miss. People either love it or hate that I'm playing reggae music.
Depends on the crowd.
Yeah, it's definitely
I don't like the
thing.
heavy metal stuff. So
sorry, Ronnie.
Sorry, Ronnie.
Sorry,
Ronnie.
Jay. I do it for Ronnie every now and again, and he's so happy, and it makes me happy, but I can't stand it either.
It's so scary.
He likes a lot of Slayer.
Everyone's like killing each other. We're like, oh my god.
Yeah, the energy in the room changes. These are the interesting ones now. Feel free to elaborate.
Okay.
If you could have any superpower that would help you in jiu-jitsu, what would it be?
Invisibility. Duh.
What, are you going to sneak up on people?
Yeah.
Invisibility. Easy answer. Okay, this is a good one. If you could roll with any fictional character, who would it be?
Any fictional.
And why?
Roll with them?
Roll with them. Fight them. Compete with them. Train with them. But I'm thinking in my head, like, it's a tournament. Match up with any fictional character.
Okay.
And when I say fictional character, it could be from a movie, a book. Could be someone you made up in your head.
Okay.
Could be
all my demons.
I
battle them every day.
Someone who lives in your head.
I don't know. That's a good one. I would say fictional character I would like to roll with.
And it could be because it could be a good match. So it could be like a hero of yours.
Yeah,
that's how my brain goes to. Who do I think would be really good to roll with?
That would be good.
You know what I mean? Like,
I wasn't thinking like that.
Or could be someone you hate.
What would be fun? Yeah, I was thinking like what would you hate? Okay, I'll do a hero. This is so hard. Fictional character. I don't know. I would say only because all right, I'll just do it. I'll say Ron Weasley from Harry Potter. Only because he kind of annoys me. I know
you want to choke him?
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah, he's kind of annoying, right?
Yeah, he's a little
and he's
annoying.
got red hair. No offense to my redhead friends.
I like my redhead friends. I like my
I
redhead.
don't. I'm just kidding. They're great. We got a few good ones.
Ron Weasel.
He's a weasel.
Ron Weasel's going down.
You
What's
weasel.
His name? Ron
Weasley.
Weasley.
What we'll do is we'll actually put a poll out there for more good rapid fire questions that are related to jiu-jitsu. Those just came out of nowhere after the last 5 minutes of thinking we should do some quick fire questions for this.
Who's your fictional character? Turn it around.
Probably I would want to roll with a fictional character would be like for
Gladiator?
me, I was thinking more like Rocky. But
I
in
see.
his prime, I would like to do jiu-jitsu to Rocky. With Rocky, I'd go roll with him. And it
Rocky
would be Rocky.
with
Like, not
any-
Sylvester Stallone, Rocky. He's stuck in character. It's him.
So he has no grappling experience.
Well, yeah, I would imagine he
Okay.
can't, but he's Rocky.
But he
So
is
it's going to
Rocky.
be tough. And it's going to get to the end of the round and he's going to be, he's bring it on. Like he's going to be ready to rock.
Rocky's ready to rock.
Rocky and Rolling is going to be the episode.
Oh, that would be perfect.
Rocky and Rolling is definitely its own show.
That was way better
God,
than Ron
I wish he
Weasel.
was around.
Weasley. Whatever his name is.
Ron Weasels. Yeah, I think that's a fun question. I'm excited to ask people that. Hopefully
That
no
was
one
good.
listens to this so they can't prep too much. But we can...
You gotta change the questions.
I think we'll change up the questions
Yeah.
too, right? Well, thank you for being our first ever quick fire. I don't know what to call this, a one-on-one?
I don't know.
1v1. We could think of this as our bonus roll.
Head to head.
Head to head. There you go. Touch heads. Bing. Thank you.
Couldn't see how
Ow, it got
hard.
stuck. Thank you so much again, Tayla. We'll say one more nice thing about you.
And no more.
And then I'll never say anything nice to you ever again. You have been such a great part of the school, and without you, I don't think the school would really be here. And I mean that with all honesty. It's I've had a lot of really challenging times over the last 4 years trying to develop the school and build it up, and you've been a very good constant force for positivity, and you've definitely kept me motivated even when I was struggling. So I'm very grateful.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm always gonna be here, so
Thank
can't
you.
get rid of me. Sorry.
Get out of here.
Nope.
All right, it's over. Kick her out. Just kidding. Thank you again, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. If you can help us with some fun answers, fun questions, we'll do a poll for it. And we're definitely going to be doing these little short episodes. One of our goals too for the podcast is, we have these little bit longer form episodes, which are great. We're going to keep doing those with myself and Kyle, but doing some of these little short 30-minute bonus rolls is going to be a goal. That way we can. Sometimes you don't have a full 4 hours to listen to a podcast. You can listen to a short little interview. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Have a good rest of your night or day, whatever time it is you're listening to it. See you guys.